A number of things, wow, it's so great to see Lynne Stewart free, and we can only hope that she has more time than the doctors allegedly gave her. It is a New Year's present to the revolutionary movement, really, and whenever we talk about the state and try to explain it to our friends, I think we should use her case as an example, because they're always pointing somewhere else. Some of you may have watched the news recently, see how the bourgeois news is giving Dennis Rodman a hard time, and grilling him and the other basketball players that he brought to the DPRK because of who they're allegedly holding and why, but not a word about Lynne Stewart and all the other political prisoners, Mumia and the rest of them. But anyway, free all political prisoners. I want to say a word on behalf of the party and homage to Amiri Baraka. I think most of you are familiar with him. He died yesterday, and Amiri was many things. He wore many hats as a political activist, a black revolutionary. He evolved politically from a revolutionary black nationalist to a Maoist/Marxist, and was a controversial figure in the black liberation movement, and lots of arguments and differences over the half a century that he's been on the scene. But this much is beyond dispute. There are a lot of wonderful African-American writers and poets and artists, some of whom are revolutionary or very progressive. Many of you may know them more than I do, know of them, be more well read of them. But I think no one surpasses, in terms of impact and notoriety, Amiri Baraka as a poet and a writer who used that art as a weapon in the black liberation struggle. He was more than that. But I think that, among other things, it was that quality that made him so famous and beloved in the black liberation struggle. And believe me, for the last 36 hours, and probably for quite some time, the passing of Amiri Baraka will be the big topic of discussion, and what to do, at this time, because these are political events. And I'm sure there are some who are planning some memorials that we will have, the party will take a lot of interest in and participate in and help as much as we can. And I'm sure that this will be reflected in the pages of our paper. A few of us got to know him over the past 15 years, primarily in relationship to work to free Mumia, because he was always a sort of a mainstay, doing what he can, speaking where he could, showing up where he could, on behalf of the struggle to free Mumia. We got to know him and his partner, Amina, and that was a very good personal experience for, I know, Monica and myself, and perhaps a number of other comrades in other branches. I had a surprisingly pleasant experience this morning in relationship to Baraka's death, and it's the way it should be. I was at a meeting in a union hall. A couple of us were there, Ann and Greg. I think Greg was there early enough to hear it. And this was a meeting called to brief a section of the movement on the critical situation of the airport workers, which I'll talk about in a minute. And he had unionists, and he had a couple of politicians and so forth, and ministers and whatever. Big meeting in their office. But he started the meeting by noting the death of Amiri Baraka. And it was just good to see that at a union meeting about a workers' struggle, that they bring it in there, because it's so often the case that they don't bring it in there. we're just concerned with this and the contract and, you know, legitimately all the issues that are on the table in terms of this struggle. But he brought in the Black Liberation Movement, the President Hector Figueroa of 32BJ SEIU. And, you know, I have no basis upon which to call him a revolutionary. I doubt whether that's true, but I think that, you know, in relationship to other labor leaders, certainly in this city, I think he has a somewhat different and more progressive history, you know, and it comes from the rank and file. And it was just, I was surprised, that, you know, put a smile on your face that he would actually, we're thinking about the airport workers like we should be, but he raises Baraka, you know.